Chelsea over the fast. It has happened. We can do it.
Happened.
We can do it. We've given you three. We've given you three in recent weeks. Last in Odegaard popped you. Just rest. I've been beating you. I'm your dad right now. I'm your dad right now. I'm in your Stamford Bridge. Every time I come to the bridge, I drive on that bridge. I own that bridge, bro.
There's nothing more spectacular than that.
Welcome to Naija Football Talk. It is time for our favorite weekend football from our favorite clubs, and we are so happy to be back to be able to preview the upcoming games. There is a big game coming up where we will see these two men go head to head. You know, obviously the clubs they support anyway, but basically two of them will be going head to head because when Bolu and Kolade meet on set, it's always a banger. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Nice one. In case you don't already know, I am Chima, and today this is a weekend preview for this week's action. First of all, we're going to be looking at Manchester City versus Brighton before we even go into Arsenal versus Chelsea. The reason why we're going to look at this match is because Man City are on a 2-game losing streak, while Brighton played out a very beautiful draw against Liverpool, and now back-to-back they are facing one of the biggest teams in the Premier League in Manchester City. That match is expected to produce a lot of fireworks. So Bolu, what are your thoughts on the game?
Oh, like you said, fireworks. It's going to be a banger when De Zerbi and Pep.
De Zerbi ball.
De Zerbi ball versus his mentor. And it's going to be end-to-end, really. Both teams trying to get at each other. It's going to be very spectacular, really, and I don't expect to see a clean sheet in that game.
Interesting. So speaking of clean sheets and what have you, looking at some battles. Obviously, some battles on the pitch will definitely determine which teams will keep a clean sheet or not. One of them is definitely going to be the full back row where Kaoru Mitoma will be facing.
Walker.
Exactly. So what do you think about that particular battle? How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, on paper, that's a very exciting one for any football fan to think about. Mitoma is someone, he has the pace, and Walker has even more pace as well. Probably the fastest defender in the Premier League right now. So it's going to take more than just pace for Mitoma to get something out of Walker. And I believe Walker is also one of the best 1v1 tacklers too as well. So I think Mitoma has a very interesting job on his hands. But another key battle for me is in midfield because Rodri is back.
Rodri is back.
So I don't know who is going to be able to handle him.
Interesting. I mean, Arsenal picked up a win against Manchester City without Rodri.
Sharply rough our 3 points.
Sharply rough on our 3 points without Rodri. Because with Rodri back in the squad now, there's the balance that Pep Guardiola enjoys in his City is also back. But Brighton has some interesting midfielders of their own. Although since Moises Caicedo went, they've not really had a proper starting midfielder, for that position. But looking at the midfielders in their squad right now, who do you think, or how do you think De Zerbi, can set them up to be able to tackle the return of Rodri, basically?
Well, in midfield, one of their mainstays so far this season has been Billy Gilmour. He has started most of the Premier League games. Yeah, from us, apparently.
The Scottish Iniesta, the Scottish Xavi.
Whatever he is, he has been starting for Brighton this season, so I expect to see him in midfield. He is not physically gifted, as we know, but he is technically gifted. So, I mean, that's what he always banks on. But we know Rodri is a physical specimen. We know
physical, technical, everywhere. He's an all-rounder.
He's an all-rounder. So, well, what Brighton can do is just to pray and hope that they catch it on a bad day. So Gilmour and maybe Mahmoud Dahoud that they signed from Dortmund. I think those are their best options. Okay, Pascal Gross is also back from injury, so he could start.
But Gross has not really been one to perform against Manchester City. If it was United now, I mean the annual Pascal Gross goal that comes
given constant
normal he gets. So okay, let's look at another battle that I think would be key. Yeah. Erling Haaland versus Lewis Dunk. If you notice, Lewis Dunk has all of it. He's a late bloomer. Let's just put it that way. Now he's in his late 30s or mid 30s now, and all of a sudden he's looking like the best defender in England. All of a sudden,
Stop.
Of it. So I did not say first. He is. Please, before you start your Saliba,
he's one of the best English centre backs.
Exactly. So he's looking like a quality man, a man who teams will be falling over themselves to sign if he was like maybe 10 years younger, but because of
he's actually, I don't think he's that old. He's probably late 20s.
Late 20s or early 30s.
Donkey.
Yeah. Max early 31.
Okay. So anyway, there's going to be a battle between Dunk and Haaland. Last time around, Haaland floored him to score a beautiful goal. What do you think about it this time around, Kolade?
I think Haaland will always be Haaland anyways. So Haaland not scoring or not performing is based on City. If City turn up, then there's nothing Don can do. Haaland will definitely turn up. And Haaland is so annoying and freakish in the sense that he can have an off day and still score a hat-trick as well. So it's going to be quite...
Three touches, 3 goals.
3 touches, 3 goals and stuff like that. So it's going to be quite difficult. But psychologically, I think Brighton will just be beaten, hovering around their noses saying, oh, City have lost their last 2 league games. Maybe we can pick them up. But then when you also consider that Guardiola has only lost 3 league games once in his career, it has only happened once. I don't think it will happen again.
Okay, so what are your predictions for the game?
City 3, Brighton 1.
Interesting, because Manchester City is hosting, so maybe the home advantage. What do you think, Bolu?
Exactly the same scoreline, actually. City are invincible at home, and City 3, Brighton 1. It's going to be an open game.
It's going to be an open game, but City will still win by 3 goals. That's not the definition of open.
It's going to be open.
That's a bloodbath.
Both sides will have enough opportunities, but City are more clinical.
Yeah, City are more clinical. Maybe Ansu Fati can, get a game. You guys keep underrating my boy. He's our number 10. What do you mean? Anyway, so now let's go straight into the crux of the day, the matter that we came here to discuss. Bolu versus Kolade. I feel like actually just dropping a banger and leaving it. As far as I'm concerned, it's Bolu versus Kolade.
I don't understand.
Because Chelsea and Arsenal are going to do battle this weekend, and all the backstage talk that has been happening in Naija Football Talk, we're going to finally see it, come to the fore. We're going to see the both of you go at each other. I feel like just dropping the question and then leaving and going to watch behind the scenes and see how you guys handle it. But let's look at it from this angle now. First of all, we're going to look at both of you. Just give us your honest thoughts about the upcoming game. Obviously, Arsenal is in a much better place than Chelsea are, and Chelsea are, slowly coming back to 2 Premier League wins on the bounce. Very, worthwhile wins, not just scraggly wins, anyhow wins. But there's also the fact that in the past few seasons, Arsenal have gotten the better of Chelsea as well. But this time around, it's going to be at Stamford Bridge. So, Bolu, what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, I think it's certainly going to be much different from what we've seen in the last few years. We've disappointingly lost to Arsenal in like 3 consecutive games. Now, 3 or 4 consecutive games, if memory serves me right. 4 consecutive games, which is very disappointing, especially at Stamford Bridge. So I definitely want to see something differently. If we could, I don't expect, to be very honest, I don't expect us to win Arsenal, but if we can get a draw, an entertaining draw, I wouldn't mind that. I would see that
something like what you guys did against Liverpool.
Yeah, I would see that as a step in the right direction, because Arsenal are, like you said, on a different level right now, and we are where we are at. So it's going to be a psychological win to stop them from beating us. At least that's an improvement from what we've seen. Okay,
so Kolade, what are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting one. Yeah, if you had asked me if we're supposed to play Chelsea maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, before now, I'll have said, we'll give these guys 4-0 or 5-0 based on what I was seeing from Chelsea. But Chelsea over the fast, it has happened. We can do it. We can do it. We've given you 3. We've given you 3 in recent weeks. Just last season, Odegaard popped you. Just rest. I've been beating. I'm your dad right now. I'm your dad right now. I've in your Stamford Bridge. Every time I come to the bridge, I drive on that bridge. I own that bridge, bro.
There's nothing more spectacular than that. 6-0.
Yeah, in my past 3 visits to your bridge, I come to your bridge, I shit on your bridge, bro. I shit on your bridge. Don't go to history. Talk about now, the last 4 games. I've beaten you at your bridge and anything.
But you didn't beat me.
I beat you at the bridge. Don't Chelsea fans don't bring that
to me. So yeah, what
like I was saying before, this guy that always beats interrupted me. So like if you had asked me this question 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have said, oh, easy win for us. Now I won't even think about it. But going with Chelsea's momentum at the moment, they are going to be very much more difficult.
Well, the momentum, who knows if it's going to be maintained, because international break has a way of
it can affect both sides. It can affect both sides in actual fact. So like I said, I think even if I still personally expect us now to win, I feel people are underplaying Chelsea at the moment, and it will not be as far off as people expect it to be. So personally, I still expect a very close battle, but I think Arsenal will still nick the win.
Okay, speaking of battles, I know right now at the moment Arsenal's number 9 position is not the strongest.
Both sides don't have a strong number 9.
Exactly, but I still feel like Chelsea have the upper hand a little when it comes to number 9. I mean, Broja is back. Jackson is a decent striker. At the moment, you only have Gabriel Jesus who can, stand his ground and say, okay, I have more than 50 goals in the Premier League, and at least I'm from a title-winning side and all of that. So do you think Arteta can actually depend on Jesus in that game and, probably for the rest of the season? Because let's be factual, only Jesus and
in that game, yes. For the rest of the season, I'm not sure. And when you think about recent news that have made around, it explains why Arsenal have been strongly interested in Ivan Toney. Meaning we definitely need a monster up front that is just hungry for goals. I personally don't see...
Jesus is not a Premier League winning striker.
Yeah, I don't see...
But he has 5 titles.
He was never really...
for City. He's not Premier League winning.
At the end of the day, he's the highest goal-scoring Brazilian in the league.
Probably, but then he's not... Arsenal need...
He has also scored... in one of his seasons at City, he had the most match-winning goals.
Fine, but then we need to go back to
actually a legit
talking
striker.
about strikers. No, we need natural strikers like the likes of...
give you 20 Premier League goals.
Exactly, we need the likes of RVP, Henry and Koda. You can look at this guy and say, I expect 20 goals from you in a season and they will deliver. We need that kind of monster striker with a hungry goal instinct. I think Gabriel Jesus likes to just assist, playing from the flanks and all. That was where he made his name from the Brazilian, side, Palmeiras and all. So I don't think Gabriel Jesus can last us through the whole season. But to beat Chelsea, he scored against Chelsea last season. Chelsea, normal thing.
I mean, he knows scored against Chelsea.
Nketiah even scored against Chelsea. So normal thing. We can definitely beat Chelsea. Even if we put Kai Havertz, their former player, we will still beat Chelsea.
What do you think about a lineup with Nketiah and Jesus against Chelsea? Do you think something like that can...
It depends.
In fact, just tell me what you think Arteta's best chance of winning.
Yeah,
in terms of
Arteta's best chance of winning is sticking back to the basics. Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli on the flanks and Gabriel Jesus at the center. I think Saka missed the City game due to a precaution and whatever. Arteta did not want to risk him. So I think if he passes the late fitness test, I expect him to start. Gabriel Martinelli should maintain his position on the other side and Jesus should start in the center. I won't be surprised if Arteta chooses to start in Nketiah as well, but I think that would be
he's a crazy human being.
He's a crazy human being, but I think that would be another key battle would also be the midfield battle. Actually, I think there's going to be a lot of Caicedo and Rice, both players wanting to prove points. Big money signings, wanting to prove a point and all of that. But if you ask me where the game will be won or lost is on the flank. The Martinelli versus Cucurella, the Sterling versus
Martinelli is missing Malo Gusto, not Cucurella.
Saka versus Cucurella.
I still think Cucurella will start if you ask me. Well, but even if it's Gusto, whoever is going to face Martinelli will have a very tough time, as well as whoever is going to take on Sterling as well. So that's why I think the game will be won.
Okay, so speaking of where games can be won, at Chelsea's defense at the moment is obviously not as strong as Arsenal's. But you guys,
I think we've both considered the same number of goals.
Okay, all right. What I mean
one less.
What I mean by that statement, anyway, is that at the moment, Arsenal's defenders have like a higher ceiling than you guys do. But you guys have some very interesting prospects. You get Disasi, since he came from Monaco, has been, as in my opinion, very great. But there's also the brilliance of Levi Colwill. There is also Badiashile, who is returning slowly from injury. So who do you think now is Pochettino's best centre-back pairing that he can, use against Arsenal and then probably use for the bigger games in the future?
Well, for the Arsenal game,
definitely sure that Silva will start. So who plays behind
for the Arsenal
him?
game? Considering the injuries currently and all that, for the Arsenal game, definitely it's Badiashile. Disasi and Thiago Silva. I think Levi Colwill is better as a centre back. I think as a whole, Colwill and Thiago Silva is our strongest centre back pairing. But for right now, for this game, it should be Disasi and Thiago Silva with Colwill at left back.
And do you believe that's thank you, Jesus, because Saka go chopper like
all that is on paper.
Well, do you think Disasi Silva can, go all the way?
Yeah, it's in theory it's a balanced defense. Having the young man who likes contact in Disasi, he likes physical contact in Disasi, and Thiago Silva with the experience, head, and the calmness at the back.
The aura defending.
Yeah, the aura defending. Well, it's not like Van Dijk though; it's levels above. So it's a combination that works right now. It's one that is balanced enough to see us through the games that we need them for.
Okay, all right. So predictions. Well, you've already betrayed your thoughts by saying you don't see a Chelsea win, but what is the scoreline of the result that you're expecting from the game?
1-1.
A 1-1. Color day?
0-2.
That's you people by Arsenal winning.
2-0. Arsenal winning.
Okay.
2-0.
What influenced your prediction?
The fact that we have the psychological head over Chelsea. I mean, once upon a time, Arsenal players would have been scared going to Stamford Bridge, but it's no longer the case. I mean, judging by the past 2, 3, 4 games, and Chelsea are actually in a very strong position right now. But I think Arsenal just have the better momentum all around. So that's what I think.
Okay, what influenced your decision or your prediction?
Well, I think it would be much more difficult for Arsenal to beat us right now, especially because of the fact that they've beaten us 4 times on the bounce. I feel like it's going to be more difficult for them to do it again. And especially now that we have a different set of players, different coach, they would want to do something.
Basically, this is a brand new Chelsea.
So they want to do something differently. And as well as they want to perform on a big game at home against Arsenal, who are title contenders. They would also like to continue what they did against Liverpool. Like you said, Liverpool couldn't beat us earlier in the season, and they would want to keep that up. At least if they can't beat the top sides yet, they shouldn't be able to beat us, especially at home. So I think that's why we wouldn't lose, and that's why it's going to be very difficult to beat us on the day.
Interesting. Anyway, we are looking forward to the game, and we are, we the neutrals, we that are just going to be watching with no dog in the race, no horse in the race. We just want to see very good football and see the madness Arteta can come up with, because that man, if he go start,
the madness Pochettino will come up.
No, I feel like Pochettino will even put out a more balanced starting exercise than Arteta would, because Arteta can play Havertz as the 9 in that game. He is that insane. I mean, spending like 4-5 years with Pep Guardiola can turn you into a manager like that. Anyway, all right. So those are the 2 biggest games that are coming out of the Premier League: Manchester City, Brighton, Chelsea, Arsenal. Manchester United will take on Sheffield United. I mean, I think that's a walkover for them. But Sheffield too have been, coming up, even though they are still relegation fodder, but at least then they give some teams trouble these days. Liverpool are going to be taking
Everton,
Merseyside derby, the usual flooring, especially now that Everton is totally, shit. To be fair, Liverpool will do their normal. And yeah, these are some of the exciting games that we are going to be seeing in the Premier League this weekend. In other leagues, we have Barcelona, who are going to be struggling with a very long list of injured players. So let's just briefly touch on that. As a Barcelona fan, I have my thoughts, but I want to hear thoughts from the outside. How do you see Barcelona going, at least for the next few games, with their lack of presence in the team, really? Because it's basically their core that are injured.
Yeah, I think it's a very difficult one. I can't really recall how many, but I think Barca have like
Seven injuries, yeah.
injured players or so, and including Lewandowski,
Lewandowski,
Balde, Lamal, and a host of others. Some key players in there. I think Koundé as well.
Koundé too, yeah.
Koundé in defense, who is a very key player. The key takeaway for me, I mean, injuries happen in football, it's normal, but the key takeaway for me for Xavi is Xavi has this knack of overusing players. I think it's a Barcelona thing, actually. I don't even know if it's a Xavi thing. It's a Barcelona thing. We saw how this thing happened with Pedri few seasons ago, and now we are seeing it happen with Lamar. This is just a 16-year-old already getting injured. He should be protected as much as possible, but he's already being thrown into the deep end. The Spanish national team,
even Pedri is currently injured.
Pedri is currently injured as well. So I think Barcelona should have a way of protecting their younger players more, and that's why this bulk of injuries are happening. It's as simple as that.
As a Barcelona fan watching, it's really annoying. Watching and following and seeing all these things happening is really annoying. I wish there were ways we could get in touch directly with the management. Let us give them a piece of our minds, because it's.
So you have to play your best players. Can you really?
Yeah, we can't not afford to play them, but at the same time, we have to understand that there is a need for balance. There is a need for proper rotation to be. That's one thing everybody would agree that Pep Guardiola does very well. You understand? No matter the team he has coached, one particular player does not play 5 straight games in Guardiola's team. Maybe, well, there are some that are untouchable. Yeah, but in certain areas, one player does not play 5 straight games in Guardiola's team. He must rest you, especially when it comes to the lesser competitions.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely rest players. So I just wish Xavi can take a leaf out of his former manager's book and help us. Save those guys, I beg, because we need them. Because there are some arguments that I wish you guys can be a part of. Anyway, all right, that's been our show for today. It's been wonderful discussing, and we're going to take the banter offline and behind the scenes. So let's continue all of these discussions, guys. Thank you so much for being with me on the show. Thank you so much for staying with us as well. And make sure you like, subscribe, share this content, and give us your thoughts. What do you think Manchester City versus Brighton will end? And how do you think Arsenal versus Chelsea will end? Let us know in the comment section below. And until we come your way with another episode of Naija Football Talk. My name is Chima. Stay jiggy.